One of my favorite podcasts, well, people in general, is Mr. Larry Wilmore. He is an extremely accomplished writer, among other things. He had a show on Comedy Central for some time, The Nightly Show, and most recently, he has a new podcast, which is called Black on the Air. On his podcast, I was introduced to the statement, "I disagree with your premise." Basically, it means it's highly dubious that I'm going to come to an agreement with someone that I disagree with when the cause is the actual issue. So we may not agree on many things, but if the central cause is the issue, cue the impasse. This is why religion, politics, and social issues are so tough to talk about. Let's take religion. If this is a sensitive subject, earmuffs for the next minute or two. I'll make it very obvious when it's safe to come back. It's a waste of time debating someone when you disagree with their premise. With religion, all the facts come from a Bible of sorts. And if the Bible itself is the premise, nothing gets accomplished. I can say Hogwarts, spells, and Quidditch are real because it was written down in a book, and I believe in them. But if you believe that the book is fiction, cue the impasse. Seriously though, continue believing. Me stating my thoughts are not a declaration that religion, and most importantly, your stance, is bad or wrong. If your belief is based around benevolence and inclusion, you'll get no flack from me. There's plenty of morality I both understand and agree with in the Bible. Okay, so back to Kaepernick. It's safe, it's safe. People are choosing not to watch the NFL at all this season in protest. And if that's their choice, I applaud them. They believe this sacrifice, when done in numbers, will disrupt the balance among NFL owners. Or the companies whose products are advertised during games will pull back their money, which would then put pressure on the league and its teams into action. But what action though? If a team signs him and he rides the bench all year, cool beans. But what comes from it? You'll see the attention just slowly fade away and nothing really happens. So in that respect, I don't believe it'll have much of an impact, let alone a lasting one. In my opinion, that's just tolerance, not acceptance. A similar thing happens with black coaches in professional sports. There's this quota that's required when teams are searching for a new coach. They must entertain a certain number of minority coaches. They're not required to sign any. So, like a sign-in bench with Kaepernick, it's just more tolerance to avoid the scandal with no measurable change in acceptance. The optics come across as more of a PR, PC move than it does to show inclusion. I'm watching this year, but only at my convenience and at no additional expense. I'm not buying any more attire. I'm not going to any games or related events. I'm not paying for the ticket or extra benefits. If it's not easily accessible or available to me, I'll just go to a bar or a friend's house and watch the game there. What I will do is continue to support what he stands for. I'll continue spreading the word and posting about it on social media. I'm looking to see where I can donate time and money locally. So the money I'd normally spend on additional access and perks for the games, instead that money this year will go to the causes that Kaepernick's spotlight brings attention to. This clip itself is a very little way I can continue to support someone and something I believe comes from a place of benevolence. So while I disagree with the premise of boycotting the NFL altogether, I'll use the minute power of my dollar to help spread the wealth Kaepernick himself is being denied as a player. Have your cake and eat it too, if you will. Which to this day is still one of the most confusing idioms that became commonplace. Who the f wants cake if they can't eat it? Steve Aoki fans. WCBS.